Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Rishi Harina. NC News is live at noon. Topping the news at this time, 12-year-old Lexie Balchan of the Fortin ASJA Primary School has topped this year's secondary entrance assessment examination. Balchan will now attend the Naparima Girls College in San Fernando. The scores are read out by the Minister of Education, Anthony Garcia.
Had a composite raw score of 97 in maths, a composite raw score of 96 in English language, and a total score of 20 in creative writing.
Well, that school was also named the top performing school for 2017, and we'll have more on this and other placements throughout the afternoon. Lexie spoke with the media following the announcement. She thanked her parents and all those who assisted her when things got tough. She said she expected to do well because of the amount of hard work she had put in.
I feel so excited. I just can't describe it. I feel that all the sacrifice I have made all throughout the 7 years, I just felt that it was totally worth it. And I would just especially like to thank God who made it all happen. Our parents, well, my parents.
Well, the president of ASJA, Yaqub Ali, is happy that the top-placed student came from one of his schools.
We applaud the principal and staff of the school for the good work they have done. They have always performed well and looked after the children in that area. So we are happy if this is correct.
Well, we here at CNM would also like to extend congratulations to young Ms. Balchan there for passing for her first choice school and also topping the SCA examination for 2017. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education was unable to give a complete analysis of the results.
Suffice it to say that the top 6 students who were among the top 5 places, we had 3 boys and 3 girls. And as all of you know, this year, the examinations, because we had 3 components: English language, creative writing, and mathematics.
Well, now we go to Tobago to hear how the results went there. Our reporter Patricia Nicholson is on the phone to give us that information. Good afternoon, Patricia. Who was the top placing student in Tobago?
Good afternoon, Rishi. Well, we had Shanice Stanislaus, the first from St. Andrews Anglican. She placed first in Tobago among the top 10. St. Andrews Anglican also had 4 students, females, in the top 10 as well. The second place student came from St. Nicholas Private Primary School. The 4th place from Bonacourt Government. So we had a number of students doing excellently in Tobago. Of course, going to the top school, Bishop's High School, at St. Anglican and St. Andrews Anglican rather, where there were a number of the top students. 47 students sat the exam, and half of those students, approximately 22 of them, went to Bishop's High School. Now, they were excited, of course. Their parents were there hugging, kissing, principals, teachers. It was an atmosphere of joy for many of the students. But I must also note that some students, while they were joyful and happy about their results, there were some who were in corners crying because some students weren't placed in secondary schools. And of course, you'll hear more about that, more details about that in a later report. But some students weren't placed in schools, contrary to what has been said by the Minister of Education, that all students will be placed in schools. So while there was some jumping for joy, there were those crying because they have not been placed in secondary schools. But generally, Tobago students have done well, and we'll have more details in terms of how they've done in a subsequent report.
Patricia, just one question. Did it bring back any memories for you when you collected your results?
Oh, certainly. I mean, when I went to the school, Tropical Government Primary, and when the results came out, of course, my name was called first. I went to Bishop's High School, and it was exciting. And yes, every time I go to do stories like this, it always brings back memories. So yes, I did have flashbacks of my time in Standard 5.
Thank you very much, Patricia. Our reporter there, Patricia Nicholson, giving us a little bit of the results from Tobago. We go to some other news now, and proceedings in the High Court have started for former cane farmers to get monies owed to them. And opposition leader Kamala Prasad-Bissesu says 3,000 more applications will be filed. The farmers were supposed to get the money in 3 tranches. The first was 27 million and was paid in 2015. However, the other 2 payments of 75 million and 28 million are yet to be made.
So Friday, 30th June, last Friday, 2017, proceedings have been started in the High Court on behalf of the former cane farmers to help them recover the balance, the 103 million. They will accept nothing less, and we will not rest until that money is paid to them.
This is the C News Live report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at C News Live. Opposition leader Ms. Kamala Prasad-Bissesu said the Prime Minister should step aside and called on citizens to come together and take back the country. Well, the Muslim organization ASJA says it will support moves to have Muslim police officers wear their hijabs. The Police Service Social and Welfare Association is in the process of holding discussions on this. It was supposed to meet with ASJA on Monday, however, that didn't take place. A meeting is being scheduled for later this week. The association is expected to meet with the Acting Commissioner of Police on this matter on Wednesday. Senior spoke with the president of ASJA, Yaqub Ali, who told us he supports this move but has one restriction.
We support the matter of covering the head, but not covering the face, where people go to the extreme and cover their faces, right? Face and eyes and so on. They don't have to do that. We have always supported covering of the head and the bosom, right? But not covering the entire face. That's not compulsory.
Well, government will consider a recommendation to have the working hours of lifeguards extended by 1 to 2 hours after 5 p.m. This from the Minister of Energy, who responded to a question in the Senate a short while ago. Senator Wade Mark wanted to know from the Minister of Tourism what measures are being taken to increase the number of lifeguards at the nation's beaches following several drownings over the weekend. In her absence, Leader of Government Business Franklin Can responded. He said it's impossible to have lifeguards at all the beaches across the country. He said at this time there was no plan to increase the number of lifeguards either, but other measures were being looked at.
What we plan to do is, I saw an article in the papers today where the parents of one of the persons who drowned asked for more signage. And I think that is a very fair request, to have warning signs and to tell you the depth of the pools or where there may be rip currents and what have you. So we will take that on board and try, where we don't have lifeguard facilities, to provide the relevant signage and warning so that the population can be more careful when they exercise in their recreation on weekends in particular.
The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management has partnered with the Trinidad and Tobago Red Cross Society to synergize relief and response efforts between civil society, private sector and governmental organizations after the passage of Tropical Storm Bret. The TTRCS is utilizing its 16 detachments in Trinidad, 8 are located in the north and 8 in the south. The ODPM says the partnership between TTRCS and ODPM creates faster distribution channels with proper checks and balances to ensure relief supplies are distributed to impacted citizens in a fair and equitable manner. The ODPM advises citizens wishing to donate items to be mindful of the relief supplies being requested at this time, such as mattresses, pillows, blankets, sheets, cleaning items, laundry soap, lumber, garbage bags and tarpaulins, among other things. Donations can be dropped off at the Red Cross at Fitzblackman Drive in Port of Spain and at number 2 Ruth Avenue in San Fernando. Now for the weather, sunny intervals interspersed with 40% chance of light to moderate afternoon, early evening showers occurring near southern and western areas. There is a 20% chance of some of these showers in becoming heavy and or thundery. Seas are slight, waves up to 1.5 meters in open waters, near calm in sheltered areas. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley left for Grenada this morning to attend the 38th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community. A statement from the Office of the Prime Minister says Prime Minister Rowley led a small delegation, which includes Senator Dennis Moses, Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, to the regional meeting which runs from the 4th to the 6th of July 2017. This meeting is expected to include a presentation for approval on the development of skills for the 21st Century Caribbean Society. The heads of government are also expected to deliberate on outstanding matters related to the implementation of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy following the comprehensive review of the CSME's performance presented to them at the last intersessional meeting in February. Minister of Finance Com Imbert will act as Prime Minister until Dr. Rowley's return on the 7th of July. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissesseh is calling on the government to say what it has gotten out of the multi-million-dollar agreement with a United States lobby group. In March this year, the Prime Minister said his government hired the lobbyist firm, the group, headed by Arthur R. Collins, to make representation on behalf of this country in the U.S. At the UNC's Monday night forum, Mrs. Persad-Bissesseh raised questions about this group and what she said was its lack of connections within the U.S. government.
So for 6 months now, since they came in last year, point one email. Point two, visited Trinidad and Tobago 2 or 3 times. And of course 8 at the Tadmaktai. We don't know what this company accomplished during their trips here. We have asked questions in Parliament, we'll continue to raise them. Now, in 6 months, they held 10 meetings. So maybe these 3 here, they held them. But listen to this. The first meeting was held when? 6th March 2017. So nothing happened. Everything happened from March when we started to raise the question.
The contract, she said, is for $16.25 million. She noted so far about $600,000 was paid to the group with little to nothing to show for it.
Well, I don't think it would be for the email. But having paid them $600,000, they held 10 meetings. How much is that for one meeting? $60,000 for one of those 10 meetings, okay? And multiplied by 7, 6 is a 42. Almost $500,000 for one, well, TT. The $500,000 is TT. The US is 60 per meeting.
Well, she wants the government to end this arrangement. To some other news now, criminologist Renee Cummings says Trinidad and Tobago has the will to fight crime. However, there is a lack of knowledge which is needed to deal with it. She said a national policy is needed.
About this really ominous crime plan that we're trying to achieve, but we don't understand that it's really a strategy that needs to be comprehensive, it needs to be national, and it needs to look at implementing and developing and supporting what is multidisciplinary, what is evidence-based, what is data-driven, and it must look at prevention, intervention, enforcement, and rehabilitation.
She said the Prime Minister and his team must realize supporting the police service is not sufficient to deal with crime.
The government itself has to sit down with all its agencies and all its ministries and design that plan, because we're really behind the 8 ball when it comes to a crime, a response to crime in this country.
The murder detection rate for the last 5 years has been about 14% and 19% over the last decade. She said that must also be looked at. The woman who was seen physically abusing a toddler in a video posted on social media needs help. The view of trauma specialist Hanif Benjamin. He says she is also a victim and the agencies must help both the woman and all those involved to prevent such an incident from taking place again.
We don't wake up in the morning and decide to beat people. We know that it's the same thing for crime. It's the thing. People just don't wake up. There is always a nexus. And until we are able to start at the beginning and work our way down, we will never get to the real issue. And so the treatment modality has to be multidisciplinary and multifunctional.
The woman has since been arrested by police. Workers at Unilever protested this morning. They say the company is unwilling to meet with them on several issues, one of which is the issue of retrenchment. The action took place at around 8:30 and during other break periods throughout the day. The union's representative, Mr. Makichny, said the workers do not want to engage in any illegal industrial action. They simply want to raise their concerns with those in charge.
The company has, in the very recent past, announced internationally its intention to divest or divest, an aspect of the business, the spread operation. That may have some significant consequences for us locally because we have a similar type operation on our facility as well. Apart from that, the company would have advised our union, albeit after the fact recently, that they would close the bonded warehouse, and this would have affected some 4 workers. What I want to stress is that they're doing this retrenchment incrementally, in the sense that on the both locations they retrench about 4 persons, or advise that they intend to retrench about 4 persons on each occasion, so that they would reach the bar of 5 people, which will force them to have to report this to the Ministry of Labour.
It's time for sport, and we start with track and field. The National Association of Athletics Administrators named a strong contingent of 20 athletes to represent this country at the Track and Field World Championships from the August 4th to the 14th in London. The selectors chose 8 women, but there is no Cleopatra Borrell, leaving Kishon Walcott as the lone field athlete. Ken Fuentes gives us a breakdown of the team.
Michelle Lee Ahi leads the charge for Trinidad and Tobago. The national record holder in both the 100 and 200 will take to the track in both events and will be joined by Kellyanne Batiste, national junior record holder Khalifa St. Fort, and Seymour Hackett. While in the 200, Ahi will have Hackett and the newcomer K.L. Clark for company, with Kamaria Durant joining those mentioned as part of the ladies 4x1 relay team. Completing the contingent of ladies are Sparkle McKnight in the women's 400 hurdles and Dominic Williams in the 400. The men's team comprises Keston Bledman and national champion Emmanuel Callender in the individual 100, with Rondell Cirillo, Kyle Grew, Mariba Moraine, and Daniel Tellisford added to comprise the men's 4x1 team. Cherim Richards will hope to continue his good form in the 200 along with Kyle Grew. The men's 400 will see Marshall Cedeno and Lalonde Gordon compete in the individual 400, and joined by Rene Kwao, Jaren Solomon, Jacob Sinclair, the youngest member of the squad, and Richards to comprise the men's 4x4 team. Ruben Walters and Michael Thomas will compete in the men's 110 hurdles. Olympic gold and bronze medalist Kishon Walcott is the lone field athlete in the group and will be looking to add a World Championship javelin medal to his collection. The team will be managed by Dexter Voisin and depart for England on July 26th to start a mini-camp at Brunel University in Kingston, London, ahead of competition which starts on August 4th. Kent Fuentes, C Sports.
Well, that's it for sport. That's how we end the C News report at noon. I'm Rishi Harinan, and remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, visit the C News website at ctvtt.com. Have a good afternoon.